Welcome on in, everyone. Episode 42 of Around the Felt, our Week 16 recap. Hope you all had a phenomenal Christmas weekend. I know I did. Part of that is because I beat Reagan again in the big bet of the week to improve to 9-5, and he had to chug the eggnog. Reagan, I'm not going to lie, you took that like a champ, my friend.
I know I did. I housed that shit. Why not? Some nog and some black rum, courtesy of Papa Tong.
Yeah, so the black rum was a good touch.
Yeah, I mean, it went down well, came out not as well, but you know... That's the one thing the video might not do justice. I think it was worse going out than it was going down.
Yeah, we didn't need to show that in the video.
Yeah. That part was not included. But I can say that was probably the worst part. Was later that night I had to walk home from our buddy's house, and it was a decent sized walk. And when you got the runs on a walk, it ain't so good.
You get the runs on a walk, it ain't too good, my friend. But you know that video's doing pretty well on Instagram. If you haven't seen it, make sure you check it out.
Yeah.
But other than that, man, a very interesting week in the NFL. We got a lot of news, a lot of injuries, unfortunately, for guys, you know, if you're in the fantasy playoffs, in the championship perhaps, or for teams in the playoff hunt. First off, TJ Hawkinson out for season with a torn ACL and MCL. Reagan, brutal sucks. Blow, especially you have him in fantasy, I know that.
Yep, one of the championship leagues I'm in, I have him, but... I mean, yeah, it just sucks. And also this Vikings team, a team that's a fringe playoff team right now not looking so good, losing a weapon like that. I mean, hopefully Josh Oliver steps up. He's a guy I'd definitely be looking at in your fantasy playoffs, someone that I think will receive a high target volume. And we've seen coexist at times with Hawkinson, so I'd definitely be looking at him if you're in a pinch at tight end or if you're looking to do a best ball or daily fantasy lineup. Definitely a guy I'm looking at with a cheap price point.
Yeah, definitely a huge blow to that Vikings offense. He was such a reliable target for whoever the hell's playing quarterback for them. Tough blow. If they are to squeak into the playoffs, I think their chances in the wild card round definitely took a big hit there.
Yeah.
The Steelers are deciding to stick with the hot-handed Mason Rudolph Sunday versus the Seahawks, even if Kenny Pickett is healthy. Reagan, is that a good call or a bad call?
It depends how you want to look at it. If you think Kenny Pickett's a long-term guy for the Steelers, then it's a bad call.
I do not, personally.
You, like, as a Steelers fan, if you're like, no, I'm done with Kenny, I want them to draft, then it's a good call because then you're trying to win this year. You're basically saying we're done with Kenny because I don't think you can make a move like that unless you're done with them or you're going to explore other options. So it really depends on what you want for your Steelers team.
I agree with you. I think Mike Tomlin knows they're on the cusp of the playoffs. He has his streak. He probably wants to keep alive with a winning season. And the way Rudolph slang that thing on Saturday.
He did let that thing slang.
I mean, you got to stick with him. I mean, George Pickens had almost 200 yards. I mean, he has not been targeted like that all season. They were going to push the ball downfield.
He had a lot of yards after slang.
Yeah, yards after the slang. He did, man. He did. So
yeah, a lot of YAS.
It seems like he brought juice to the Steelers' offense. I think you got to stick with Mason Rudolph. I think it's the right call by Tomlin.
Yeah, in the Christmas spirit at least, I guess.
Yes. Trevor Lawrence, another injury, sprained shoulder. His right shoulder, his throwing shoulder, his availability for Week 17 is unclear, and all of a sudden,
I think he's going to play.
That division is wide open, man.
Well, he's had an injury like every week, and then he ends up playing, so I'm sure he'll play. I didn't realize he's never missed a game in high school, college, or the NFL, so.
I didn't realize that either. That's
I guess he'll play.
Iron Man award.
Yeah.
He probably will play, especially given that the Colts are right up their ass in the division,
and
man.
The Texans are all
8-7. Who would have thought that was going to be the case through 16 weeks?
Thought they were frauds. I just thought that the Titans, who are very bad, would have been the team to give them a run for their money.
Yeah, I didn't think Houston.
I'm not surprised with how bad Jacksonville is. I'm more surprised with how good the Texans and the Colts, but really the Colts are the surprising one because I did have the Texans winning 7 games in the beginning of the year. So I thought they were going to be decent, but the Colts, they're one of the biggest surprises to me.
Yeah, honestly, for both these teams, historically, when you have a rookie head coach and a rookie quarterback, it is very difficult to produce a winning season. It just does not happen in the NFL. So the fact that, one of the few that actually did
AFC Championship,
one of the few examples of it actually working out.
Yeah.
So I know for the Colts, Richardson's been out most of the season, so Steichen's been doing it with Minshew, but still very impressive because he is the backup. But with what D'Amico's doing with Stroud for Houston, man, like the fact that both teams are in the same division and doing it, like just shows that I think the tide's going to turn in that division for the next few years. Plus, Trevor Lawrence is a young quarterback as well. It just seems like Tennessee's just way behind. Just seems like they're way behind.
Their coach is Mike Vrabel, so you think they'll figure it out.
Yeah, because Vrabel's a hell of a coach, so even if with a bad roster, they're still going to be competitive. Mm-hmm. But with the way the roster's constructed, they have Levis, but the jury's still out on him. I'd say Stroud is definitely more of a surefire. Yeah. So is Lawrence. Richardson, jury's still out, didn't play enough, but he looked good early on. it'll be interesting to see how that division shakes out in the next few years.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Waddle, high ankle sprain. It seems like he's going to miss the remainder of the regular season. Hopefully the Dolphins can get him back for the playoffs, and they do have a big matchup with the Ravens that could determine the number 1 seed. Could be huge, giving Waddle that extra week of rest. Reagan, are you concerned about this Dolphins offense without Jalen Waddle?
No, not really. I mean, I don't think he has the impact Tyreek does. I mean, obviously it hurts losing him, but I'm not like super concerned where like as long as they have Tyreek, this offense is like game-changing different. Like I don't know. To me, I feel like Waddle, don't get me wrong, he's good, but I feel like other guys like Berrios, Chosen, or Robbie, or Anderson, whatever you want to call him.
Definitely
Cedric
not Chase
Wilson.
Claypool.
I think they have enough.
Chase Claypool.
Yeah, not him. Cedric Wilson. I think they have enough options that are fast that can fill in enough to that role where this offense might have a slight hiccup, but I don't think it's as significant as Tyreek, and I think we could even see more of A-Chain filling into that Waddle role in the slot.
That'd be interesting. I'd like to see A-Chain in the slot.
He does run a lot of routes out of the slot, so I do think we could see more of him running some routes at wide receiver, which is good for you if you have him in your fantasy playoffs because, well, maybe he's only getting 30% of the snaps at the tailback position. He might be getting another 20% to 30% at the wide receiver position, which if you're giving me 60% of A-Chain, it's pretty good.
That's good. You take that any day of the week. I agree with you that we saw when Tyreek was out how bad this offense looked, and Waddle almost seemed like he couldn't overtake that number 1 role and have the impact. I mean, granted, Waddle's still a phenomenal receiver, but he was better last year than he was this year.
I mean,
for some reason, but
I already decided me personally, like I am benching Waddle no matter what this week, whether he plays or not in my fantasy matchup. I'm putting in Ty Chandler and DeAndre Hopkins because I had those 3 options, so I'm going to start those 2.
Yeah, you can't start Waddle.
The flex and the wide receiver, so I'm going Hopkins and Chandler over Waddle, whether he's healthy or not. Well, obviously if he's not healthy, we're not playing him. But
finally, Jalen Hurts sets the single-season record for rushing touchdowns by a quarterback. And I saw the display of from how many yards out. It was 1 from 12, 1 from 10, I think 1 from 6, 1 from 4, and then the rest were from the 1-yard line and the tush push.
Well, I was dying laughing in that Giants game on the tush push because I don't know if you saw, but Jason Kelsey was going like ape shit.
Yeah,
I was dying laughing because he was just screaming at the camera. Because I guess one of the Giants linemen like bumped into him or something and like tried to help him up, and he was like screaming at the camera, and they were like only zooming in on him because obviously it's like Taylor Swift's boyfriend's brother, so like got to give him some extra attention. But he was going like ape shit.
Are you impressed with this record-setting performance by Hurts, or not really because it's a tush push?
I watched the highlights. Of it, dude. It was rough.
Am I impressed?
Just tush pushes.
Am I impressed? No. I mean, I guess it's impressive in a sense that it's that effective. Do I think they should get rid of it? No. Like, I would love it. If my team could run it, I would love it too. You know, like
I just want them to get rid of it because I'm a Giants fan. I don't want to see it for the next 10 years. It's unstoppable.
I think teams got to learn how to get other players to run it then. Like, if you don't have that jacked up quarterback like Jalen Hurts, like, you have other players that are jacked up that could probably run it. So I think you just got to adapt in the offseason and find that player you can throw in.
Well, that's what we were talking about.
It's not like no matter what, as soon as Hurts comes in, you're not worrying about the pass. Like sometimes they'll do a sneak, but like we've yet to see them do like a fake where he actually throws it.
Yeah, they did do the reverse.
They did the reverse.
The reverse was nice. Yeah. And I was thinking,
but that you could still run no matter who's under the center.
Yeah. They could get away with it way more.
I don't know. I was talking to my brother and Drock yesterday when the Giants got the 2 with Barkley.
Great football minds.
And he just got stuffed, but then he drove his legs like Hurts did and got in. And I was like, why don't the Giants run the tush push with Barkley under center?
I guess
if you have a guy that could squat 600 pounds, like you can run it.
You
have to practice it to snap,
like
but
injury risk. But it's like, dude, they're doing it with Jalen Hurts. So
they're doing it with their starting quarterback.
Yeah,
like
so
Barkley could do that. If Nick Chubb could do that next year, you know what I mean?
Someone have a way better. Like a lot of it has to do with like what your center like.
That's true too.
Yeah, the interior offensive line is it's phenomenal.
The reason the Eagles get away with that a lot is what Kelsey does from that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's why not everyone's been able to master it because Kelsey's still the top of the game at age 36. It's really impressive, and when you have a quarterback that can squat 600 pounds, I don't see how you can stop it. But
no.
Yeah, that wraps up the news. Joe, let's transition on over to questions.
All right. Start off. We got NowarskiAustin at gmail.com.
Austin!
Hey, what's up, Nowarski Austin?
Is Lamar the clear MVP after this week's performance?
I would say he's the front runner. Is he the clear MVP? I wouldn't say for certain. Based off the odds, it seems like it's between him and CMC. I think basically as long as Lamar doesn't dud in the next 2 games, he wins it. If he is to lose to Miami and have a dud, then I think CMC might win it, or Tyreek if he's to go off.
So if Miami beats Baltimore and Tyreek Hill has an absurd game, like 200 yards, Tyreek could get up there.
That's what I'm saying. So it basically comes down to because the whole thing going into the last game was if Purdy doesn't dud, it's probably his award, but he duds, and now it's Lamar.
He did worse than dud, man.
So
we're going to get into that game. I got a lot to say about that game. But, yeah, I mean, Lamar's the favorite right now. If you guys haven't, go on over to the Instagram. We posted the clip. I said on September 6th, Lamar was my MVP pick.
I also said some false things on September 6th.
Derek Carr MVP. Also, if you keep going a little bit more in that video, which we didn't clip yet, but I said Lamar MVP, CMC Offensive Player of the Year. And that looks pretty damn good right now. That'd be a good call.
That's a coin flip.
That'd be a good call.
Him and Tyreek.
Yeah, that's what I'm. That
would have been a nice little parlay at the beginning of the year, huh?
Yeah, I think if Tyreek breaks the record, he gets it. I think if he falls short of Calvin Johnson, I think McCaffrey's gonna get it.
Yeah, we'll see. It'll definitely be interesting.
It's a very tight.
I mean, McCaffrey's got 21 freaking touchdowns, man. I mean, he's just a workhorse. He does everything for that offense. I think if the Ravens win out, Lamar is going to get it. Because he was clearly the best player on the field last night, and they're playing San Fran.
I think if they beat Miami, they clinch the 1, so he might not even play the last week of the season.
Yeah, so this is a huge game. He could seal it next week.
You know what I mean? Like, he might only end up playing 16 games, but it might not hurt you if they beat Miami. Like, it might not hurt if he doesn't play. Like,
honestly, it might help him.
That's what I'm saying.
It might almost be locked in. The number one seed.
It's like, all right, like his odds aren't going to change versus, like, if he has a bad game, it's like, oh, shit. So...
Yeah, I don't, and it's going to be a divisional matchup too. So those matchups are always dicey in the AFC North. You never know who's going to come out on top. They're usually low scoring, so it could hurt them. I don't know.
And I think there's still a way the Browns can win that division too. I'm pretty sure.
Baltimore's already got 12 wins,
but Cleveland has 10.
They'd have to.
They're both, but I mean, if Cleveland, I don't know because they'd both be 4-2 with the split. So I don't know. I'm not sure.
It goes conference record. Doesn't it go conference record? If you split head-to-head, and have the same... If you split head-to-head, have the same division record.
Cleveland must have it, because Baltimore would have a Z. Cleveland, they're both 7-3 in the conference.
Doesn't it look at point differential?
Yeah, let me look at it. Let's see.
It gets like 5 tiebreakers.
Yeah.
So it's head-to-head, division record, conference record.
Yeah.
And then it might be...
But there still is a world where Cleveland gets it, which...
Is it strength of schedule?
Let's see. 2 clubs. Best one of conference and strength of victory in all games. Let's see.
Differential.
No, it's just the win percentage of your opponents, I thought.
Yeah, strength of victory, which Baltimore is at .517, Cleveland's at .513. So, dude, there's still a small chance Cleveland wins that division with a much easier schedule than Baltimore.
That's very
because they have the Jets and the Bengals, and the Ravens have the Dolphins and the Steelers. So... wouldn't that be wild?
That would be something, man. That would be something.
Cleveland coming in and getting that one.
I wouldn't be happy.
I'm rooting for that, man. I am rooting for that because that Cleveland's my new team I'm rocking with.
What is happening with the Chiefs? Are they a first-round exit?
Yeah, right now I think they are because right now they're basically locked into that 3 seed, and guess who's basically locked into that 6 seed? Buffalo, and the way Buffalo's playing right now,
my goodness,
I think Buffalo might go and beat them bad.
No one wants to see Buffalo in the playoffs. They are scorching hot while the Chiefs are tanking right now. I mean, it's hard to believe that they'd lose the first round in Arrowhead. It's just really hard to think that would happen, but the way that offensive line looked, Mahomes was not comfortable. He's running for his life, and that was the Raiders, man. That's not a playoff team. That's not an elite defensive front. They got Crosby and then a bunch of rascals, you know what I mean? They didn't have Donovan Smith, their left tackle, but regardless, Taylor has been bad all year. The interior, which is elite, did not look good. And no one gets open. And Mahomes doesn't trust anyone other than Kelsey and Rashee Rice at this point. And Pacheco wasn't able to run the ball. I mean, we thought that was a big factor for them struggling because they didn't have that aspect, and he couldn't do anything on the ground the other day. So... honestly, the Chiefs are struggling. Now, honestly, this could be a wake-up call if they could still pick it up. But I think they need to win this week and next week and get some momentum going to the playoffs. I still wouldn't bet against them in the first round at Arrowhead. But if they're on the road, it'd be the first time in Mahomes' career he has to play a road playoff game. That could get dicey.
Well, that's going to happen no matter what.
Unless they lose the first round.
Well, yeah. Yeah, that's true, I guess, yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, I still wouldn't bet on them to lose, but it's definitely dicey.
All right. And last from Austin, have you guys figured out a punishment for the 3 losers of the college football national championship bet?
We've talked about it. We have 2 we were debating between.
Yeah. The first one we were going to do red light, green light.
Red
light, green light, which would be with a paintball gun.
That's crazy.
That sounds. I like that one the most because it's just
hilarious.
like the one guy with a paintball gun going like across. Like we could do it like
Okay.
across a field, like Joe's yard.
We still got to figure
like
the
down and back,
logistics of
red light,
that,
green
but-
light, and if you actually go past, then it's boom, 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 you get lit up. Like
Yeah.
And
Go
then
down back, yeah.
we were thinking of another one. The winner gets to basically write a movie script that the other guys have to act out. So it could be like anything they want.
Oh, wow.
So you would be looking like you could make them look as weird and big as freaks as possible, and it'll be like a funny comedy skit or whatever.
we're between the 2. We should probably just have the Felters vote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should throw a poll up.
We're
Yeah,
gonna
we
throw
might
we're gonna
have
throw
to.
a poll up between those 2. We're between those 2.
And we're still open to other ideas too. So
yeah, we're open to any other
if
ideas.
you're implying
as well.
that you have an idea, Mr. Oster, let's hear it. Does he or no?
He does not have an
Oh,
idea.
great. Oh, so I'll talk.
He was just curious.
All bark, no bite.
Stop George and Austin. Curious George, head ass.
Okay, next up we got Max.
What up, Hafe?
Yo.
Who is primed to surprise teams in this year's playoff?
Wait, what do you mean? Like in the NFL playoffs? Or are we talking?
Yeah,
Like-
NFL
Yeah.
playoff.
Okay.
We are an NFL podcast.
Okay. I like in terms of who we think will go far.
Well, your pick's
Who's
Cleveland.
gonna be
Because
a
like
shocker,
Cleveland,
like surprise,
Cleveland
like
is my
surprise?
pick by far. Like
Okay.
I genuinely think Cleveland could make the Super Bowl. Right now, we've already seen them beat Baltimore and the 49ers. Granted, the 49ers didn't have Trent Williams or Debo in that game, but Cleveland was starting one Mr. PJ Walker. So I don't care. If you're the 49ers, you got to handle them if they're starting PJ Walker. So that's a team I think it could be a big-time surprising factor.
I'm gonna go with the Rams. I think the Rams
okay.
are a team that no one wants to see, and right now, if the way it's matched up, the Rams would play Detroit, which would be Stafford homecoming, first
Yeah, I
playoff
saw
game,
that.
Detroit.
Crazy.
Stafford would be their revenge. Jared Goff revenge game. I love my
no
revenge
matter
games.
what, take them both
Stafford
over.
revenge
Wait,
game.
What do you do there when it's a double revenge?
Oh, I just
Take
take
them
both.
both.
I just take both their
I
props,
think it's
man.
just offsets.
Just take both their passing yards over. But the Rams are scorching hot, and that offense is clicking with Kyren, Cooper Kupp, and Puka Nakua.
And the good thing
They're
is
very
both
difficult
defenses
to
aren't
beat.
great.
No,
so
both that should be a shootout.
points.
That should be a shootout in Detroit. So I think the Rams could upset Detroit in the first round. I also think the Rams are a bad matchup for Philadelphia with that secondary. I think the Rams could do some damage there. Now the thing is, for the Rams, it's all on their defense. Like they got a very young secondary, very young defense in its entirety. So it's going to be on Aaron Donald to wreak havoc, but Aaron Donald in the playoffs is a scary sight. I think the Rams can make some noise in the NFC.
Another surprise team, Tampa Bay. They've been on fire recently. Their defense has been
Come on,
playing
Baker!
at a great level. Baker seems to look like a franchise quarterback right now. He seems like a guy primed to get a big
You get
extension.
25 touchdowns to 8 picks
That's
right
what I'm
now, or
saying.
something
he
like
seems
that.
like a guy primed for a big offseason extension since he only was on a 1 year for $8 million deal coming into this. I guess he probably has some incentive based.
He
parts of the
does.
deal,
So he had a
he'll probably get a bunch
$4
of them.
million base, and then it was $1 million for playtime, which he cashed.
Yep.
And then he gets $1 million for making the playoffs.
Which he's about to cash.
Which, if they beat New Orleans, it's going to cash.
Yep.
And it was already reported by, I think it was Rappaport, this weekend, that they have mutual interest to get something done. Like the Bucks
course.
want him back, and he wants to be there. Like it seems like he found a home. But the way he's playing right now, and Mike Evans is still doing his thing, and hopefully Godwin can heat up after that big performance last week.
Yeah, but the defense
With
is
that
the
defense,
biggest
yes, the defense.
factor, man. They made sure they just exposed the Jaguars, who, I mean, I thought they were frauds anyway, but still, like a lot of people consider them a good team.
It's tough to run on that. It's tough to run on that defense.
That's what I'm saying. So I think they're a tough matchup for Philly or Dallas, who most likely that matchup will be.
Yeah,
I think it's
looking like
actually
Dallas.
essentially locked in that it's Philly or Dallas.
Yeah,
most likely it's going to be Dallas. So I don't know. It's not a great matchup for Dallas, but we'll see, because you can beat the Bucks in the secondary, but the way they've been playing defensively, I don't know. It's definitely more interesting than I would have said a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Dallas because Philly has one more win than Dallas, and Philly has Arizona and the Giants. So
Yeah.
I'd assume they're going to win their next two, and it's going to be Dallas in Tampa Bay, which that did happen a couple years ago when Tom Brady was there.
Yeah. So we shall see.
Interesting, man.
Eckler's situation. Does he stay in LA? Can he go back to being a top 2 fantasy back next year?
No. He does not stay. He does not. One, he does not stay in LA. They have to get money off the books. Like they are way over the cap, so they can't afford to pay a 28-year-old running back that looks slow right now and looks like his best days are behind him. I think it's just weird how it works with the running backs. They just fall off a cliff. Like we saw it with Dalvin Cook this year. He was so productive and then just brutal. And Eckler is more of a receiving back by nature, so he could have more of a role somewhere else. But I can't imagine it's going to be in LA. They can't afford him.
To me, he could still be a top 12 fantasy running back, like where you view him as an RB1, but he's never going to be that top 2 producer. I don't think he'll have enough volume, but I definitely could see him still producing at a high level for fantasy, but it's not going to be with the Chargers. It's going to be a different situation.
Yeah, he's got to be in like a full-point PPR league for me to be top 12 next year.
Yeah, but he'd definitely still be a startable asset, I think.
Also depends
next year.
on where he goes. I mean, that's an interesting thing to think about. Like, what are some potential landing spots? It's just you can't tell right now. There's still so much movement that needs to happen. But, I don't really know where he could end up next year, but it's not going to be in LA.
All right, a little trivia question. What running back has more touchdowns this season than they did in their first 8 years in the NFL?
Raheem Mostert.
Yeah, that's Mostert.
Good question, Have. He's got 21.
I mean, that's just to think of that. I mean, there might be. Is there anyone else that could? I'm trying to think. Like, I wonder if that's the first time that's ever happened.
It's just crazy. 8 years, man.
That's what I'm trying to think. That guy that's
especially
hung around
for a running back.
Yeah, it's wild.
Very, very wild.
Yeah, I mean the classic year 9 breakout.
We see it all the time.
Yeah.
All right, we got Jared Tong.
Jared, what's up, brother?
What's up, baby Tong?
He's got a single fantasy question. James Cook against New England D or Raheem Mostert against Baltimore D, as we were just talking about.
James Cook or Raheem Mostert?
I think you got to start James Cook the way they're giving him the ball right now. He's been getting crazy volume.
Who are they playing again? Buffalo?
Buffalo's
the
playing
Patriots.
the Patriots.
And I think that Buffalo, they're peaking at the right time. The fact that the Patriots already beat them once this year, Buffalo's going to come in taking this game more serious. They're not going to be sleeping on them like they probably did earlier in the year. And I just think they found out that the best way for their offense is to function as James Cook is their number one option. So I think he's going to get a ton of volume. And I don't love the Baltimore matchup. Even though McCaffrey did just go off against them, let's be honest. While Raheem Mostert might be putting up close numbers in fantasy, he ain't no Christian McCaffrey. Yes. So I just like the matchup better and what I've seen from Cook as of recent.
I agree with you. I'll add on saying that there's always the threat of Achane taking a touchdown as well. Plus, Mostert's been a little banged up. We saw him miss a little bit of time in the game. We got hit in the knee. He came in. He missed practice last week. So I just think Cook is healthier right now, and there's no threat of a second back to take touches. And almost like with Mostert, you're depending on touchdowns more so. I mean, he has 21 of them, so it's been working, but he's way more touchdown dependent, where I think Cook's going to get more volume at the end of the day.
What kind of league are you in? That's like a decision you have to make. Like, who are your other options? Like, why can't you start them both?
His team's loaded.
I mean, the fact that you can't start them both.
It's a dynasty.
Like, who else does he have?
I don't. I think he might have Gibbs as well.
I'd consider starting both of them over Gibbs.
Gibbs has been awesome.
No, Gibbs
has
been scorching hot. Gibbs
all
scored
of them
twice.
Have been scorching hot.
I know.
That's the thing. Like, I think you can consider because that who are the Lions playing? The Lions are playing Dallas. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I think I would low key.
Yeah, but James Cook just destroyed Dallas for 200 yards.
I know, that's my point. Like, I don't know if it's safe to say that Gibbs is definitely better than the other two guys.
Well, I think I would definitely start Gibbs. I think I would bench Mostert.
I think I would bench Gibbs and
start
the other
Mostert
two.
Over
yes,
Gibbs?
because see, there's a key factor which you might not have this factor because Dallas and Detroit are playing Saturday. But like I just mentioned, if Waddle doesn't play, I think Achane will get more involved as a receiver, which might mean more touches for Mostert than he would have got if Waddle's playing.
That's an interesting way to look at it.
So,
because you almost want to have Mostert and Achane on the field together with no Waddle.
Yes.
So I don't know. There's
a lot of factors that go into it, but I would say I think they're all going to have good games. So I think no matter what, it won't burn you. But
I do like all options.
You'll have to let me know what you end up doing.
All right, next up we got G.
What up, G?
G-Man.
Yo, Colin, how does it feel to get bounced in Dynasty playoffs by your co-host, Little Bro?
That is my little bro, and he did bounce Colin.
I did get bounced. Just for context, it's a one-quarterback Dynasty league, and I'm not going to lie, Big G coached a hell of a game this weekend. His boys went off. They came in prepared. They hung 172 on my ass. That's tough to beat. It's a tough number to beat.
I think the best part
I
about
put up
it
152. I mean, my boys balled out. We came just short. It's disappointing. But
Wow.
Big G, I tip the cap to you. You had those boys ready to play. And I hope you win it all. I hope you beat my co-host right here.
I think the best part is all offseason, Colin's like, I have the best team. I have the best team. I'm going to win. All these websites say I have the best team. Clearly not.
We fell just short.
Well, not just short, because that would imply you're going to get second. But third place is cute, I guess,
Oh,
if you can get it.
If I was matched up against you, I would have won. I put the second most up. As
See,
the
the key point is if, which you weren't, and I got the 1 seed, so sorry.
That's fine. We came up short, but the boys are gonna be ready to go
Don't
next
worry,
year. I
I'll
still
let
like
you-
my roster.
I'll-
We got some good draft capital.
Once I win, I'll wear the belt on the podcast, and I'll let you.
I really hope he
let
doesn't
you-
win.
I'll let you
I
look
really
at your
hope Big G
reflection.
takes care of business and takes little bro out. Big bro, little bro, you little bro, or big bro.
I guess we'll find out this week.
Yeah,
That might change.
Yeah.
Whoever gets the belt is determined big bro.
Yeah.
The other guy's little bro. I hope you're
Guess
little
so.
bro.
Guess
I can't.
so.
I actually don't want to listen to you all.
I'm just
season
glad I'm
with
in the
with belt.
conversation to even be saying I'm going to get the belt, unlike you. So
Yeah, you know what? What do you want me to say? I tip the cap.
All right, last up we got Jerry Cramps,
hey,
No
Monk.
cramps.
Grand Monk.
the Monk.
The Monk. Monkton.
Thoughts on Mike Tomlin to the Chargers?
Is
Negative.
that being floated around?
I guess like Crampton's floating around in his head, so you
He's trying to speak it into existence.
maybe I don't know.
I don't see it
Trying to
happening, but
manifest it, I guess.
I saw something like Mike Tomlin could potentially be traded, and I thought that was very interesting. Reported by Diana Rossini. I mean, I can't imagine Tomlin's not going to be coaching the Steelers unless Mike Tomlin doesn't want to. The Steelers aren't going to willingly move on from him. They can't. Even though I think he's a little bit overrated, they still just don't lose. They don't have losing seasons. But it's got to be up to Tomlin. If he wants out, that could be the only way that happens. It's an interesting hypothetical, though. I think he'd do well in L.A.
yeah, I mean, I don't see it happening. I don't see how he leaves Pittsburgh, to be honest. I still think he's got a couple more years there until they really make a change.
Best job security in the world, you know?
I'd say so. Honestly, he's got to be. Honestly, I can't think of a coach with better job security right now. When
I'd
you
say-
really think of it.
Yeah, I'd say
In terms of those old coaches, obviously guys like Sirianni and Shanahan and Mike McDaniel, the guys that are at the peak of their game right now, they have more security. They're younger and their teams are.
Well, I'd say
on fire.
there's
But,
a
in terms of-
handful of guys that have 100% job security. That'd be Tomlin. That'd be Andy Reid. That'd be John Harbaugh to me. That'd be Kyle Shanahan. You said Mike McDaniel.
Sirianni.
I think Mike McDaniel. I think Sirianni.
Belichick used to be, but now we don't know.
Yeah, Belichick's
Yeah.
not in that 100%
I would
anymore.
put Mike McCarthy in there, as crazy as that is to say.
I wouldn't say 100. I can't say 100.
It's hard to say. I
It's
don't know,
crazy
man.
because, dude, they're
they win
they're
12
winning.
No,
games
with
this year.
the way Jerry Jones
It's
runs.
That's the
crazy.
thing. That's the thing.
If they go 12-5 and he loses the job, that's
No,
crazy.
but
I guess
let's
if
be
you,
real though. 100 isn't a realistic number because
Yeah.
you would if you asked me 5 years ago who has the most job security out of any coach ever, we would all said Belichick.
Yeah.
And then a couple losing seasons later, and then
Yeah.
boom, nobody has
Yeah, you would have thought
job
Belichick is going on his
Yeah.
own terms no matter what.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
I mean, I'd say those six come to my mind. I wouldn't put McCarthy's 100. I'd say probably closer to 90% just because of the external factor that is Jerry Jones. He's so unpredictable that if they go into Tampa Bay in the first round and they get plunked out,
Dude, he might
could
be
you
fired. Yeah,
Jerry
I wouldn't
Jones might be so
surprised.
fed up he could move on. I don't know. But McCarthy's done a really good job this year. The offense is firing on all cylinders. So and he's calling the offense. So it's tough to say McCarthy will be gone, but if they get knocked out in the first round, that's why I can't say 100. Jerry Jones is just a different breed of an owner.
yeah, it's a good question, Jerry, or I
Yeah.
guess a good statement.
If you have a 1 to 2 year leash with Jerry Jones, unless you're gone.
I mean, damn, Jimmy Johnson was gone after they won a Super Bowl, man. You just never
They
know.
butt heads big time though.
Yeah.
Say Marvin Harrison Jr. goes to the Cardinals. Where do you rank him among fantasy wide receivers off the rip?
I think he's the
Well-
second. I think he's the second Jamar Chase.
I don't
He's that level where there is no doubt he's going to be a stud.
I wonder
There's
what
no
you
doubt.
mean, though. Does he mean from? Did he say I don't? Because Dynasty obviously is different than
if you were to just draft
A redraft.
redraft.
Where is he going?
Redraft
So-
amongst other wide
So
receivers in the league.
I'm just okay. So I'll give you both. So if it's for Dynasty, I mean he's obviously going 101. But in terms of all the young receivers, I'd say he's probably top 5. Where in redraft, I'd probably put him in I don't know if I could put him in top 12 yet. I'd probably draft him in the 4th or 5th round, so I'd say he's going to be a top 15 to 20.
I think he goes earlier. I think he's going to be like a 3rd round pick.
Yeah.
Really?
I think he's going to be ranked in the 20s.
I get that.
But then Jamar
find
Chase
it hard
came in,
to
and
believe.
Jamar Chase was ranked in the 40s.
That's what I'm saying, so I don't think so.
Teams get him with their 3rd pick, they're going to be stoked about that, I think.
Yeah, it all depends on where he goes. I mean, obviously in this, you're asking the Cardinals, so Dynasty, I view him top 5, redraft top 20.
Who are the receivers that you would take over him in Dynasty? I'm going to go...
Still Chase Jefferson. To me, I would still take Garrett Wilson.
Oh, CD?
CD.
Okay, maybe not top 5 for Dynasty.
CD, yeah, for
no,
sure.
not Tyreek, no.
Too old?
He's too old.
Devontae too old.
You could go Garrett Wilson.
I'd take Garrett Wilson.
And then it's like Waddle, Devontae Smith, Marvin Harrison. Like they're kind of there.
AJ, yeah, I'd take AJ.
AJ's 26.
I'd still take AJ over him. No,
not DK.
No.
Olave's another one.
Is definitely a toss-up.
Just depends. Is Olave going to get a quarterback, man? That's a whole nother thing, too. Because if he goes to Arizona,
Puka.
Like me, I would, just Puka's the proven asset who just went for 1,400. Let's put it out there. I don't think there's a chance in hell Marvin Harrison next year puts up more fantasy points than Puka is going to this year.
Yeah, it'd be...
Think about it. How good of a season... He would have to have an incredible season because that's how good Puka's been this year. Puka's going to go for over 1,500 yards and 6 or 7 touchdowns on
he's
120 catches.
The NFL
Do we really
record,
think if Marvin Harrison stays healthy next year, he's going to have more catches? Doubt he's going to have more catches. I doubt he's going to have more yards. He may have more touchdowns because he's a bigger body guy. But let's be honest. So...
It would be NFL history because Chase set it for rookie receiving yards right after Jefferson, and then Puka just did it. So, I mean, it would be NFL history, but
right now I'm still taking Puka over. So I guess he's top 10 for me.
I'm taking Marv over Puka, just long term.
It's hard for me. It's hard for me.
I know because it's a proven commodity. We saw it. I understand completely, and he's a rookie. But Marv is just a blue chip talent that it's his ceiling is higher than Puka's.
Yeah.
But then again, Puka. I don't hate your argument either. I can totally see why you take Puka.
I have Ravens plus 1,800 future. Do we cash or ride it out?
You got to ride that. I think you got to ride it just because. I mean, if they beat Miami this week, they're gonna be the number 1 seed. So having that bye is so clutch. Now that there's only one of them, it's only the top seed. So I would ride it, man. And plus 1,800, I wouldn't cash. I also don't know what the cash out's looking like.
That's what I'm saying.
But
probably not great.
And if it's it's probably nothing.
Dude, they're not going to give you... I doubt they give them anything yet. The playoffs haven't even started yet. I think you don't even consider cashing till if they make it to the Super Bowl.
If they made the Super Bowl, I would just hedge and just bet the other side.
Yeah, I don't think it's worth hedging or cashing out till the Super Bowl, unfortunately, with those odds.
Yeah,
I think you ride it.
I think if they get to the Super Bowl, you definitely hedge it so you guarantee yourself. I don't know how much he threw, so did he specify that or no? He just said 1,800. No. Yeah, so I don't think
having the known amount would have definitely.
So I don't think you consider it till they make the Super Bowl.
I agree with that.
That was all he had?
That's it.
All right, cool. So we'll take a quick break and then we will come back. Hey guys, it's Reagan here, and I got something to tell you guys. I'm here to talk about Worst Manhattan. As you can see, I got the QR code behind me, so pause the video. And yeah, you can use that QR code. You're going to go to their website. From the website, you're going to use their store finder tool, something that I've used to find Califon where I live. It's a location that has the Worst Manhattan. I had some for the holidays. Actually gave a couple bottles out as a gift. What a great gift it was. They were excited. I've already been getting great reviews on how they liked it. So check it out. Find a store near you and get one of those bottles because guess what? It's the best. All right, guys. Welcome back in. We're going to get right into the Thursday night game. The big bet of the week, the one unfortunately I lost because the Rams decided to defeat the Saints 30-22. I backed the Saints plus 4.5, I believe it was. Or no, plus 4 because there was a chance that we would both be doing it together, but in this case it wasn't the case. So yeah, it was just the Rams show from the start. I mean, I'll let you get into the stats of it, but boy did Puka have a game.
Yeah, man, the Rams improved 8-7. Saints dropped to 7-8. Officially cashes Saints under 9.5 for me as well. So it was a big one. I didn't have to drink the eggnog, and now Reagan has to eat 12 hot dogs in 20 minutes. It's a good day. I'm happy about it. The Saints almost had that backdoor cover for you. They scored 15 in the fourth quarter to cut the lead to 30-22, but the Rams just built too big of a lead for the Saints to overcome. And yeah, Puka Nacua, man, 9 for 164 and a touchdown. Kyron Williams, 22 for 104 and a touchdown. And then Cooper Kupp had 6 for 52. It was the Demarcus Robinson game here.
Yeah.
6 for 82 and a touchdown. Good to see. Former Florida Gator. Let's go. For the Saints, Derek Carr threw for 319, 3 touchdowns and a pick. Kamara couldn't do anything on the ground, 9 carries for 19 yards. Olave went off 9 for 123. Rashid Shaheed scored. Juwan Johnson scored. A.T. Perry scored. But it was not enough. Big game for the wild card hunt. And now the Rams put themselves in position. It looks like they're going to be in the dance. And the Saints could be on the outside looking in.
Yeah.
Big matchup this week for the Saints against the Bucs. A must-win, Reagan. Playoffs start now for New Orleans.
Yeah, I hope the Bucs win. I'm off on the Saints team.
Oh, he's off the bandwagon, finally!
Well, because...
Finally!
Well, actually, I don't know. I don't know what I want more because it would be fun to see the Saints make the playoffs and then win a couple games. They're like, see, this is what I was talking about.
That's what I was talking about. Derek Carr was supposed to be playing like this all year.
But I still got to eat the hot dogs. And Derek Carr, in fairness, he played well in this game. But it's just, I think, a little too late for this team. But we'll see. We'll see. I feel like now that I back the Bucs, the Saints will go out and just demolish them.
Yeah, you know what? Keep taking the Saints.
I
We
might
do our
have
big
to.
bet of the week next week, and I'll take the Bucs. How about that?
Nah. None of that jabba.
Let's get to the Saturday games. The Steelers, wow. Where was this all season? 34-11. Just total ass beating of the Cincinnati Bengals. Both teams now set at 8-7. Mason Rudolph, 17 of 27 for 290 and 2 touchdowns.
I know, to have 17 completions and almost 300 yards is crazy.
And for George Pickens to have 4 catches for 195 and 2 touchdowns is crazy.
Also crazy, yeah.
He had that slant that he cribbed from 86 yards at the beginning of the game, and then he had that nice catch down the sideline to pick up a big gain as well. I mean, that's the type of receiver George Pickens is. He's an athletic freak. Just throw him the ball. Like, he wins contested catches. 50-50 balls are not 50-50 with George Pickens, in my opinion. And that's why, you know, when you had Trubisky in there, he was brutal. He wasn't giving his receivers a shot, and small hands Pickens can't do it either.
I would say Pickett was giving him the chances. Like, Pickens did have some fantasy success and NFL success. It was just really
not on a consistent basis.
Not consistent, but he did give him the opportunities where Trubisky was evident it was never.
Yeah, I mean, Pickens still only had 6 targets. We'd like to see those numbers go up,
Yeah.
and on the ground,
need it, though.
Najee Harris ran really well, 19 for 78 and a touchdown. Jalen Warren
Leading
only 8
rusher,
for
baby.
24. But yeah, I mean, Steelers offensively, where has this been all season? Their defense obviously did their thing, really holding down Jake Browning, who was playing really well. He still threw for 335, but it's because they were playing from behind the entirety of the game. He also had 3 interceptions. Not good. Mixon, 11 for 43. T. Higgins, 5 for 140 and a touchdown without Jamar Chase. He really exploded the past 2 weeks. Hopefully, if you were still starting him in fantasy in the playoffs, even though he let you down all season, he did show up for the playoffs, baby. But at 8-7, Bengals outside looking in the playoff picture, even with a winning record, I think it's going to be tough for them to get in.
I think the best part about Najee is this is his highest yards per carry in a season at 4. I mean, he's only in year 3, but like he's actually having like one of his better seasons.
It's crazy. Not good enough to be the leading rusher, but
you know
it's tough on that offensive line.
If you ask me top 20, he'd be doing it. Top 17, he'd be doing it. Top 16, no, not quite. He's 17th right now.
It's definitely tough behind that offensive line, and when you don't have an explosive vertical passing attack, teams can load the box up a little bit more without the threat of small hands Pickett's beating you deep. But
yeah,
I digress.
Yeah.
Next, the Bills squeak one away from the Chargers, 24-22. They stay hot, 9-6 now.
Teams firing their coach now to improve to 3-0 against the spread.
That is a very good stat. I hope someone fires their coach this week because I'm going to hammer that.
3-0
Chargers are now 5-10. Easton Stick, 23-33 for 215. No touchdowns, no picks. Eckler, 15 for 65. Stick did punch one in the ground. Receiving-wise, it was ugly. It was all over the place. Palmer, 47. Everett, 42.
Everett, 1 yard short of our wheel.
Oh, my goodness, man. We cashed 2 wheels this weekend.
Cashed 2. Could have been
1 yard from 3.
Could have been 4 because Everett and Likely last night.
And Likely was at the one as well, dude. We almost cashed 4 wheel spins this weekend, bro.
We could have been up another 40 units, but it's all right.
The wheel would have been up like, 70 units if that
Something
happened?
like that, yeah.
Oh, my God. That is crazy. For the Bills, Josh Allen threw for 237, a touchdown and a pick. And he also added 2 scores on the ground. James Cook, 20 for 70. Very interesting here. Stephon Diggs has been almost non-existent the past month or so.
Yeah.
He had 5 for 29 in this one. Now, if you have Diggs and you're in the finals, Are you benching him?
Actually, you're probably not, so next question. I mean, let's be honest. If you have Diggs, and you took him in the second round, most likely, odds are you're not in the playoffs.
I'm playing Walmart in the finals. He has Diggs.
Wow. Then
he has the Allen Diggs stack.
I'm still playing. Well, then I'm definitely playing. You still have to play him, dude. You drafted him, like, in the second round. Like I said, if you somehow squeaked in with him, then you got to play him. You just can't not.
You can't not start Stephon Diggs.
I can't imagine him having many options better than Diggs.
Well, he had Amari Cooper on his bench this week, and he started Diggs.
Yeah,
and he won by less than a point. You would have started Cooper.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't matter. He won anyway. But
yeah,
I'd still play Diggs over Cooper, especially in the matchup next week. Like,
yeah, Cooper's got the Jets, and that's a tough secondary. They shut down wide receiver ones week in and week out.
Yep.
It was an insane game.
And also,
Cooper,
even if it wasn't like that matchup, I'd still play Diggs. You just got to keep playing him.
I'd still go Diggs. This was the Gabe Davis show, 4 for 130 and touchdown after going 2 consecutive weeks beforehand of not having a catch.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Bills offense.
Wouldn't play him next week.
I would not play Gabe Davis ever. That's the most boomer bust receiver probably in the league.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but that's the Bills offense for you. Next, the Falcons with Taylor Heineke take care of the Colts 29-10. They improved to 7-8. While the Colts dropped to 8-7. Tough one for the Colts. They're still hold on to the 7th seed, but it's wide open. It is wide open. There's a lot of teams at 8-7 in that conference. Taylor Heineke, baby, 229 and a touchdown. Bijan 12 for 72 on the ground. Algier 9 for 69 and a touchdown.
Wow, shocker. Algier, another good game.
Bijan had 7 catches for 50 yards to lead all Falcons receivers. Pitts 3 for 49. Scored a touchdown. Thank God. Give him a quarterback. Please. Please give him a quarterback. Drake London only 3 for 39.
Now, when do I get my apology for the whole Bijan Algier debate we had? Because that was quite the debate, and I think you were giving me shit for saying that Algier would be heavily involved this year. Let's take a guess. What do you think the carry counts are right now between the two guys?
Probably pretty damn close, Reagan.
If you had to guess.
Dude, I don't know. Just give me the fucking number.
Bijan, 188 carries. Algier, 175 carries. So, yeah, like I said going into the year, which I got a lot of crap from you.
Can you talk about the receiving game between the two?
Well, my whole thing was
how many
just the fact
does Bijan have compared to Algier's?
Well, that doesn't really matter to me because my whole thing was Algier's going to be heavily involved in the running game, and that he has been. I know Bijan's a better pass catcher, but what I did say was Tyler Algier is very talented. I still don't understand that pick by the Falcons because clearly Algier can get it done on the ground as well.
Yeah, that's a whole nother rabbit hole about team building that doesn't make sense because why are they taking, premier players on the outside and at running back when that's not the way your offense functions with Arthur Smith? Why aren't you taking guys in the trenches?
And why are you giving Cordell Patterson the ball 7 times too? So I don't know.
Yeah, why is Cordell Patterson getting 7 freaking carries? I don't know. Arthur Smith, he baffles me. I actually hope the Falcons, if they win out, I cash my bet over 8.5. But if they lose out, I wouldn't mind if they fire Arthur Smith.
Yeah.
So that's the shining light that I'm looking at.
I don't think they'll win out. I'm not too worried about them winning out.
I don't think they'll win out either, but just saying. For the Colts, Minshew threw for 201 and a pick.
Winning 3 in a row. That just seems like too good for them.
Yeah, honestly, I don't see it happening either. Jonathan Taylor, 18 for 43 and a touchdown in his return. Not very efficient, but he did punch one in.
Not at all.
And receiving, it was ugly. Kylan Granson, 5 for 62. Will Mallory, 4 for 47. And then there's Josh Downs and Alec Pierce down below. But for the Colts, not a good look.
No. Nope.
Barely holding on to that 7 seed. Next, Seattle goes into Tennessee and escapes with a 20-17 victory. Geno Smith with a game-winning drive. Week after, Drew Lock led a game-winning drive against the Eagles. I don't know the exact stat, but I saw it in the bottom of ESPN. It's like the first time ever that a team has won with a game-winning drive in back-to-back weeks with 2 different quarterbacks. I believe that was the stat. Very interesting. Geno threw for 227 and 2 touchdowns. Lockett 8 for 81. JSN 6 for 61. DK 4 for 56 and a touchdown. Walker 16 for 54 on the ground. Charbonnet 2 carries, no yards.
Not ideal, but that JSN pick, very good, Mr. Joe.
Very good, Mr. Joe. For the Titans, Tannehill threw for 152. He's buns. He's not a good quarterback. Derrick Henry actually threw the only touchdown in this game for Tennessee. And he also added one on the ground, 19 for 88. Vintage horse. And he did start to talk about, is Derrick Henry not going to be a Titan next year?
I don't know. I would say
we talked about it last week.
No.
I would say he's not a Titan next year. For the receiving game, Okonkwo 6 for 63 and a touchdown. Hopkins was absent. Burks was absent. Tajay Spears 5 for 27. This passing attack is nothing.
You want to hear something funny?
Yeah.
Guess who's tied for second most passing touchdowns on the team with Ryan Tannehill?
Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
What does he have? 3?
They both have 2.
They both have 2. Oh my God, man.
Ryan Tannehill he has started, how many games has he started?
That's
1,
brutal.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 games. He has 2 passing touchdowns to Derrick Henry, who, I guess he's played every game, but he ain't throwing the ball that much. I think he's throwing like 4 attempts, 4 passing attempts.
Just might not be the other Titans.
Yeah.
This is definitely Ryan Tannehill's last season in Tennessee as well, I'd imagine.
Or maybe in the NFL.
They need a change. Yeah, well, I don't. Yeah, I mean, he's bad, man.
I'd imagine somebody will give him a backup job.
He's
but
he just doesn't slang that thing like Joe Flacco does to the point where he's still going to be in the league at age 38. I think Tannehill.
Who would have thought Flacco was going to be in the league still?
Yeah, but Flacco has a big arm. Tannehill does not have a big arm. I can't.
Slanger.
Yeah, I can't imagine he's going to be in the league much more.
Slanging it.
Next, the Lions squeak away from the Vikings, 30-24. They improved to 11-4, clinched the division. Vikings are 7-8. The first time the Lions have won the NFC North, and it's, I believe, like 30 years.
Ooh, wow.
Very, very impressive for these Detroit Lions.
In the first round.
Yeah, you've been saying it, but you were saying the Vikings would win this division. Unfortunately, that one did not come to fruition.
It did not.
In this one, Jared Goff, 257 and a touchdown. Gibbs, 15 for 82. Montgomery, 17, 55-1. I'm just saying Gibbs looks a lot better right now. Montgomery's still solid, but Gibbs just looks way more explosive.
Gibbs has got that juice.
That juke that he had, oh my goodness. When he sat down that Minnesota DB, that was disgusting, man. Amon-Ra, 12 for 106 and a touchdown. Jameson Williams, 5 for 43. Doesn't look too good, but honestly, the fact that he's getting more involved in this offense is a really good sign for Lions fans. Laporta, 3 for 18. Gibbs, 4 for 20 through the air. For Minnesota, Mullins threw for 411 yards. 2 touchdowns. The difference in this game was the 4 INTs, Reagan.
What I will say is, while I don't think Mullins maybe gives this Vikings team the best chance to win, as a Vikings, as a guy, if you have Jefferson or Addison, I want Nick Mullins as a quarterback because this guy is not afraid to throw the ball in the coverage, double, triple. He loves slanging that thing. So for fantasy, you got to love it, having Nick Mullins.
Yeah, because if they turn it over, the other team's scoring a lot of points, and what do they have to do? They got to throw it to get back in the game.
You really think Dobbs and Hall are going to throw it like he's been throwing it? Like Nick Mullins is just throwing that thing around, whether it's a pick or not. Like we saw against, against the Bengals when he was running around and threw a jump ball up to Addison. This guy gives his receivers chances. So from a fantasy perspective, it's good. NFL, maybe not so much, but I don't know. He's a viable option. The past 2 weeks, he's been good for fantasy.
Yeah, even with the -8 from the 4 INTs, he still threw for 411.
That's what I'm saying.
And 2 touchdowns.
That's what I'm saying. He still had the past 2 weeks, he's been a top 12 quarterback both times. So you can start him. I'm starting him in my fantasy championship next week.
That's wild.
I have to. I have to.
I feel like a lot of backups come in and they're depressing because they don't want to take any risks. Yeah. They don't want to make mistakes.
Yeah, it's take care of the football. Mullins fuck that. I'm going to slang that thing.
And then you get some, slangers right there.
Well, also, dude, he's playing the Packers, so I love the matchup.
Oh, my goodness. You have to start Mullins against the Packers. Bryce Young just exposed him.
Carr, Stick, Flacco against the Jets, Brissett.
No, you got to go
I have
Mullins.
No better option. I'm going Mullins.
You got to go Mullins.
I started him the past 2 weeks. I mean, I had to buy the week before, and then this week he got it done. So
honestly,
I'm riding with the hot hand.
Hey, what Tommy DeVito did to that Green Bay secondary, which now he got benched. Then what Baker did, perfect passer rating, and then Bryce Young having the best game of his career so far. I mean, that's a big reason that I made the finals. I started Bryce Young, and Bryce Young didn't score more than 10. He didn't score more than 10 fantasy points for 8 games straight, and then he dropped over 20 against that Packers secondary. I love the Nick Mullins play out of you next week.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, though, he's going to be without Hockenson. We mentioned it earlier, torn ACL and MCL. He had 4 for 58 before leaving, and Addison left with an ankle, had 1 catch for 2 yards before leaving. But Justin Jefferson's still there, 6 for 141 and a touchdown. They did nothing on the ground. Ty Chandler, 8 for 17. His only saving grace was that touchdown that he scored.
All right, well, let's take a quick break, and then we'll get back with the rest of the games.
Hey guys, it's Colin here from Around the Felt. The race to 1,000 Instagram followers is live. We just eclipsed 900, and we have a special event coming for you. The Around the Felt boys are going to sweat a $1,000 bet to celebrate 1,000 followers. And we're going to do a giveaway. If you repost on your story, like it, and tag 3 friends, we're giving away $200 to 1 lucky follower. And we're going to go live during this bet, and we're going to sweat it out with you guys. Hope you join us. We're announcing it now. Help get us to 1,000 followers. Now let's get back to the episode. All right, guys, let's keep it rolling here. The Jets almost blow a massive lead in this one. Reagan, I know you were probably rooting for it. They still come
I
out
was.
on top, 30-28. They're now 6-9.
Because
They
when you
slide
want
a bit in the draft.
When you want a team to tank, that's the best thing. They put up a ton of points, and they look good, but then they lose. So we almost got the perfect tank game where it's like, all right, that's a good amount of momentum. But
You had some fun. Yeah. Breece Hall, your young star, pops off in this one. 20 for 95 and 2 touchdowns, and he also added 12 catches for 96 yards.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know about... He won me my semifinal matchup, dropping over 40, but I lost to Garrett because he had Breece Hall. It's it is what it is, but... Reagan,
and the
tough
worst part
for
is
the Jets in the draft order.
Trevor Siemian was doing his best part for the tank.
You and Zach were talking.
Really bad sacks. Just he's terrible. He was
doing
his
that
best
pick
in
he
the
threw
tank.
in the red zone was brutally bad. You and Zach were talking. You're like, Zach's like, yeah, I think Siemian knows the tank is on.
Oh, he knows the tank is on. And now Breece Hall. He had a pretty cool stat. I mean, it's nitpicky, but with him having 95 and 95, that's the second time he's ever done that in his career. And he now becomes only the 6th running back all time to do that.
That's crazy considering he's in his second year and had a torn ACL.
And that puts him at second. The only guy to do it more times, Walter Payton, 3 times with 95 and 95. So Breece Hall is with Priest Holmes, Brian Westbrook, Larry Brown, Thurman Thomas, and Walter Payton.
That's a hell of a list right there, my friends.
Yeah, and if he does it one more time, we'll be tied with Walter Payton. And all those guys, how many games do you think they played, if you had to guess? Over how many?
They all played over how many to get to that mark?
No. Like in their career, how many games do you think they've played?
I'd say they all played over 120.
They've all played over 100 at least.
Okay.
So the fact that Breece Hall has done it twice in 22 games just shows the talent he can be. And think about it. What will this guy do next year with Rodgers? It'll be scary.
Yeah, it will be a scary sight. Hopefully the Jets boost that offensive line even more so he can get... Because he's been a phenomenal receiver all year. Only McCaffrey's more receiving yards from a back. But
he's got to be getting close to leading the league in catches for running back.
I'm hoping that they fix that offensive line
helps.
so he can run the ball behind it. But
Kamara, though.
Yeah, it's damn near close.
Where he was getting 10 almost.
That's what I'm saying, bro. It's damn near close. When you have check down Charlies at the quarterback, it definitely helps.
Yeah, I mean, Siemian threw for 217 in this one, 96 to Breece, 76 to Garrett Wilson. Then it was Conklin at 36. No one else really did anything in this one for the Jets.
Nope.
For the Commanders, Sam Howell gets benched again after going 6 of 22, 56 yards and 2 interceptions with a QBR of 1.7. Yuck. I think that was the lowest recorded QBR in NFL history, I believe.
It's Kamara at 73. Breece Hall's in second with 65. So
what's McCaffrey at?
63. But he definitely has... McCaffrey's got 537 receiving. Breece has also got 537. And Kamara has 462. So Kamara's just getting the checkdowns but not the yards. And then Breece...
That's crazy. Him and McCaffrey are tied now.
Yeah, they are tied. Yep.
Wow. So then, Jacoby Brissett comes in 10 of 13 for 100 yards and a touchdown. Chris Rodriguez, the rookie, 10 for 58 and 2 touchdowns on the ground. He out-touched Antonio Gibson in this one. Receiving-wise, it was ugly for the Commanders. Now, Reagan, I got a question for you about the Commanders. I know earlier on in the season we were saying they got to stick with Howell for another year, but that's how back-to-back games that he's been benched. And I know the Jets have a good secondary, but he got benched the week before. This was also the lowest passer rating in NFL history, and Brissett has just looked better.
The tough thing is, though, he's looked better, but he's come in garbage time where it's clearly we're going to keep everything in front of us. And, yeah, I mean, it's tough to say he's looked better from that standpoint.
He hit Terry deep downfield the week prior.
Yes.
So that wasn't keeping in front. That was, it was garbage time. So maybe the starters weren't in, but yes, he did push the ball downfield.
It's just tough to me to say. I do think Brissett's a decent quarterback, but I don't know. I don't want to necessarily jump ship on Howell. I still think that they should give him another chance when they go out and get a new coach. I mean, I guess it really depends on who they get, but I don't know. The whole situation's weird there. Ron Rivera's clearly on the outs, so I'd wait to see. If there's a coach that wants to build around Sam Howell, then make it happen. You know what I mean? I still think they should wait a year, because then I view it like this. Either you give him another year, he turns out to be something, and then if you don't, that means he sucked and you're probably picking in the top couple picks anyway. Yes. This year, they're not getting Caleb or Drake May unless they trade up, and I think this team has too many issues that they can't afford to trade up. Otherwise, they're going to be in a very similar spot to the Carolina Panthers with no draft capital, a quarterback in a bad situation, because I don't think May or Williams will have a lot of success in this situation anyway. The O-line's trash. The weapons are okay. There's still the run game I'm not in love with, so I think there's a lot of issues. So I say you give Howell another year, and then he either proves he can be the starter, and if he doesn't, You draft someone the following draft.
Yeah, I'm conflicted here. So I don't think it necessarily has to be May or bust. They could fall in love with Jaden Daniels out of LSU because I do think Jaden Daniels is going top 5. I think 3 quarterbacks go top 5. Now, the issue is if the draft order holds as it is, and the Commanders right now are picking 3rd, I'd imagine they're going to pick 3rd when it's locked up because they're not going to beat San Francisco. They're not going to beat Dallas. Let's be honest. If the Cardinals are picking 2, it's going to be interesting. Do they stick and pick Marvin Harrison or Commanders at 3, Patriots at 4, Giants at 5? Do one of those 3 want to move up to 2 to get May? And if that happens, if you're the Commanders, do you move up to 2, move up 1 spot? You're not moving up from 9 like Carolina did. You're moving up 1 spot, so it's not going to be as much.
To me, but
it's a bidding war.
The difference between the Commanders and the Giants and the Patriots are the Giants and Patriots have a lot of talent on the roster currently, where I don't think the Commanders really have a ton of talent that I love at this
Their
point.
only talent that they really have that I love is their interior D-line. It doesn't even seem like Jonathan Allen wants to be there anymore.
Yes.
I mean, they trade away both their star edge rushers. Cameron Curl's good in the secondary, but he needs a contract, and you're going to pay him?
I just think there's a lot of issues on this team, so I really
They have
don't...
a decent amount of talent at wide receiver.
Yeah, but
even,
none of them are game
Terry.
changers. You
And-
know,
and
it's
Terry might become a game changer, but I don't think he can be.
He's already 27.
I don't know. It's just, to me, I just think there's too many issues where I think you just got to roll it back next year with a rookie head coach. If he likes Howell, give him the chance. Play the year out with Howell, and then go from there. Because odds are you'll know next year. And he showed a lot of flashes this year to me that proves he should be a starter in this league, or at the very least a career backup. That's pretty evident. He belongs in the NFL. So I'd say give him 1 more year and then go from there. Because if he's that bad, you're going to be picking. They end up with the worst record next year anyway. So I'd rather wait another year and see.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't think that's a bad way to look at
I
it.
just don't think they're going to do any rookie quarterbacks
also,
justice. I think whoever they're going to get is going to be what Howell is, if not worse. Because I just think there's too many issues with this team right now.
I don't know. I don't think Sam Howell's ceiling is that high. I think he's limited athletically. I think he's limited arm strength
and
wise.
the ceiling might not be that high, but I'm just saying by next year, I just don't think they're doing anybody any favors.
I agree.
And I think for the development aspect, they're going to hurt whatever prospect they get.
But if you're picking 3rd and you have the opportunity to get Drake May or Jaden Daniels, and one of them becomes a superstar, and you don't take that, and you instead take a tackle, it's going to be a tough look. It's going to be a new regime. There is new ownership. They're not tied to Howell. Howell was a 5th-round pick. They have no ties.
You're right.
And he's not expensive, so you can move on. But then it's like, okay, if someone does jump you and takes May at 2, are you in love with Daniels to take him at 3? Do you take Fashanu, the tackle from Penn State? Or is Marvin Harrison just staring you in the face? And although you don't need a receiver necessarily,
I think they could
you
go.
took
Yeah,
Dotson.
I think that's a smash play there too.
Do you go? Yeah, you can go Marv, and you can move on from Samuel, get some money off the books, and you have Terry, Marv, and Dotson. That's a good young wide receiver core. There's a lot of options they can go with. They still need a lot of help on defense, but that's going to have to happen later in the draft. I don't know, man. Commanders are in a tough spot whether they go quarterback or not. I think it's a good debate. All right, we spent a lot of time talking about the freaking commies, man.
Walmart, let us know what you think as a Commanders fan.
Walmart, I'd like you to submit a question for the next pod, and I want to hear your thoughts on what you think the commies should do.
Or just drop a comment on the YouTube.
Walmart's been saying, no, he might jump ship. He might become a Bills fan.
If you do that, that is soft. That is the softest shit I've ever heard. You don't jump ship. I don't care. That is so soft.
Yeah, all right. The Packers narrowly escaped the Carolina Panthers 33-30. Reagan, what is going on with this Packers defense, man?
A lot of issues. Not a whole lot of defense. Man, I don't know. They got some issues. It looks like a team that's going to just miss the playoffs, so it looks like they're going to be in the market for a new DC next offseason.
Yeah, I can't imagine Joe Barry's going to be there.
In fairness, a lot of Alexander's been missing some time, so I think that's a key. I don't believe he played in this game, but obviously when you don't have your shutdown corner on the outside, that definitely limits a lot of things you can do defensively, so that hasn't been a big help, but still.
To counter that point, teams are missing star players all the time.
I agree.
This entire Packers defense, not all of it, most of it consists of first-round picks.
Yes.
It's notorious. They never took any weapons to help Aaron Rodgers. It was defense. There is a lot of talent on this defense.
There is a lot of
They should not be getting exposed by the likes of DeVito. They should not be getting, Baker, perfect passer rating, and then Bryce Young, the best game of his career, throwing for 312 yards and 2 touchdowns. And he wasn't scoring more than 10 fantasy points for 2 months prior to this. It's just crazy. I mean,
So you think
DJ
it's more? Do you think it's more on the players, or you think it's a Joe Barry thing? Because I think he's.
I think it's a Joe. I think it's a Joe Barry. I mean,
he's
granted,
as good as gone.
The players still deserve blame as well. I'm not putting it all on Joe Barry, but it's just mostly schematically. I think they're messed up right now. I mean, DJ Chark had 98 and 2 touchdowns. Adam Thielen 94. Tommy Tremble 59. Bryce Young was just exposing them. Chuba added a touchdown to the ground. I mean, offensively, at least the Pack was able to get it done behind Aaron Jones. He had 21 carries for 127. Jordan Love threw for 219, 2 touchdowns. Dobbs, 79 and a touchdown. Dontavian Wicks had a touchdown. Their offense did enough to squeak one out, but, man, this defense is bad right now.
Yeah.
And that's why I love your Nick Mullins play next week, man.
Yeah, I think the Vikings are going to kill him next week on Sunday Night Football, so it should be interesting. But that'll be a big deciding factor in which team ends up, if either team can make the playoffs, because I think it puts the winner in a great spot and the other one's going home.
Yep. Next, the Browns behind Joe Flacco and Amari Cooper.
Keep getting it done, man.
Beat the shit out of the Texans, 36-22. They're
And
now
honestly,
10-5.
The 22 points the Texans got, that was all garbage time. That was all Davis Mills and garbage time.
They scored 15 in the fourth.
That's what I'm saying. So really, the game, it might appear close, but it was not. This was a blowout for the Browns.
So let's just get the Texans over with so we can spend some more time talking about what Amari Cooper and Joe Flacco did in this one.
Yeah.
Case Keenum got benched after going 11 for 17 for 62 yards and 2 picks. Davis Mills comes in, throws for 149 and 2 touchdowns. Dalton Schultz, 861. Noah Brown, 338. And then it was just all scattered. A lot of receivers got receptions for not a lot of yards. They couldn't do anything on the ground as well. Singletary, 9 for 44. Also, I believe Dameon Pierce returned a kick for a touchdown in this one.
He did, yeah.
So their offense was non-existent, basically. Wow. Joe Flacco throws for 368, 3 touchdowns. Yes, he had 2 picks. He is turning the ball over a little bit, but that Browns passing attack
he's not afraid to throw it.
Has come
you know
alive,
what I mean? He's throwing
man.
it around the yard. He's slanging it.
He's slanging it. Also, they couldn't do anything on the ground here, Reagan. Jerome Ford, 15 for 25.
Yeah,
Pierre Strong, 522. Kareem Hunt, 7 for 11.
Isn't that funny? I mean, I guess it makes sense what teams are doing. They're like, what can the Browns do best? Run the ball. We're going to make Joe Flacco beat us. And clearly it's not working.
Yeah,
Isn't that
Flacco's
funny
balling, man.
I mean, granted, a lot of it's like Nick Chubb's not there, but they were able to run the ball with Jerome Ford early on before Flacco and Kareem Hunt. And now all of a sudden they can't. So
it's also part of that's probably their top 3 tackles being out as well.
Yeah, but they were out. They were running the ball well when they was out. You know what I mean? And also it might have to do with Joe Flacco's mobility. It does limit the timing on a lot of those plays.
He's just a sitting duck in there, but that dude can fucking sling that
either way,
thing.
it's working out what they're doing right now.
Amari Cooper, 11 for 265 and 2 touchdowns. He dropped a 50 burger in the fantasy playoffs.
And I think
if you lost and had him on your bench, I feel sorry for you.
And I think this is the 4th time ever he has. I think that's the 4th time he's gone over 250 in a game.
Yeah, Amari Cooper has always had these type of
I'm almost positive.
Games.
That's his 4th time doing it.
He's gone for 200 for 3 teams.
Yeah.
The Raiders, the Cowboys, and the Browns.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's the only player to do this besides Terrell Owens to go for 200 plus for 3 different teams. Crazy stat. And you just jogged my memory on that. Yeah, I don't know why I knew that. That is phenomenal, man. Njoku played well. He had 6 for 44 and a touchdown, but it was
sorry, it wasn't 250. It's the 4th time he's gone over 200. I knew that sounded wrong, but still, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was a Browns franchise record. He took it from. Do you know who had the record before?
Josh Gordon.
Yeah, baby, let's go. These boys know ball. Come on. We just all these stats just popping out of our heads.
Yeah.
I'm starting to rub off on you a little bit,
I
man.
guess so.
You're starting to get a little statty.
Yep.
The Browns at 10-5. Looking good, man. They're looking good.
Sir.
They are going to be in the playoff picture.
Looking soupy good. But I will say, I know for a fact Amari Cooper is going to go under on his yards this week.
Everyone's going to slam the over, and he's playing the Jets.
I know.
He's going under.
I know. It just screams under me. I mean, I'm not taking it because I don't like.
What do you think his line's going to be?
I think it's going to be 70.
I was going to say 70s or 80s.
It's probably up. You want to check quick? I think it's going to be in that range, and I think everyone's going to hammer his over, and I think it's classic Amari Cooper where he duds. Because we did see this a lot. Even the Raiders and Cowboys, he'd have these boom games, and then he'll dud. And that's just who Amari Cooper is.
Is that game? That game is in Cleveland. It's in Cleveland.
On Thursday night, too. So it's in prime time, so more people will be betting on it, too, because it's a prime time game. And I really think the line's going to be very high.
That's an ugly game, man.
Oh, my God.
That's an ugly
57.
game.
Wow.
1.5.
I don't know. That's low, dude.
I'm not.
I don't know.
I'm not touching it, but I'm telling you, the under's probably gonna hit because the line seems so low, and everyone's gonna get all giddy like that. Oh my god, it's so low. He just went for 250.
Yeah.
And then he's gonna come out and put up like 28 on like 3 catches.
Dude. That's gonna be an ugly game.
Yeah.
A game I don't really want to watch, but we do it for you guys. Next, the Bucks beat the shit out of the Jags, 30-12. Both teams now sit at 8-7. Jaguars have lost 4 in a row. Reagan, not good. They were sitting 8-3. You were calling them frauds. They're proving you right.
They are frauds.
They're definitely frauds.
It's between them and Detroit for the biggest frauds.
Defense is falling apart. Baker Mayfield, 283, 2 touchdowns. Rashad White, 20 for 39, only averaged 2 yards per carry, but he did score. Mike Evans, 786, 2 touchdowns. Godwin, 6 for 78. But, man, that defense showed out. Lawrence threw for 211, a touchdown, and 2 picks before leaving with injury. Beathard threw for 94 and a touchdown. ETN got stuffed on the ground, 6 for 12. Evan Ingram, 10 for 95. Calvin
he's
Ridley,
having a good season,
6 for
Ingram.
90 and 2
he's
touchdowns.
having a sneaky good season.
Ingram is having a really good season.
think
I'd
he's
like to see
definitely
where
gonna
is he
be
ranked tight end wise.
In terms of what? Fantasy?
Yeah, where is he ranked fantasy wise? He's definitely top 8.
Well, there was a while he went without scoring a touchdown.
Yeah, he's got only 3 touchdowns,
recently.
but your guys aren't going to guess.
He's tight end 5.
If you already see how many catches he has this year, because you will not guess if you didn't look.
I didn't
Neither
look.
of you will guess.
92.
Oh wow.
How many
Close.
catches he's had?
Yeah.
He has 92 catches.
No, he has more.
What?
He has 98 catches this season.
Oh, wow.
What
124
tight end
yards.
is he?
5.
5, because he only has 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
But still, the fact that this guy has 98 catches, like, we can see why the Giants spent up on him in the draft, and then why the Jaguars went out and, gave him a pretty good contract. But the fact that he has 98 catches, and last year was his career high at 73, I mean, he's taken his game to a whole nother level.
Yeah,
most
last year was
yards,
also
most
his most
catches.
yards, and this is his best year of his career.
Yeah, outside of the touchdowns, the yards and catches.
Yeah, he
are
had
up
6
there.
touchdowns as a rookie, but he had 722 on 64 receptions.
Most first downs in his career. He's having a great year.
Yeah, well, he has 34 more catches this year, but only 102 more yards than his rookie
I mean, he's
year.
getting
His
a lot
rookie year,
more
he's more of a
targets.
big play threat. Now he's like kind of being the safety blanket.
And a lot of that's
Whoever's that
Christian Kirk
quarterback.
going down, and Parker Washington not developing the way that Jake's takes had thought.
Yeah, the Jake's takes is done. But yeah, I mean, at least that's the only positive you really take away from this game. The Jaguars
Jake's
fan,
takes is done.
no. Well, that I mean, I guess there's 2 positives.
biggest positive.
Evan Ingram career year, Jake's takes is done because Lawrence did go out with injury. Not good. All right, man. The Bears, 27-16 over the Cardinals. They improved to 6-9. They're starting to heat up a bit. Cardinals now sit at 3-12.
Yeah, the only thing that sucks with the Bears is it's a little too late, unfortunately. Like, this does seem like a team. They remind me of the Lions last year where they just kind of turned it on late at the end of the year, and that's why I still think the Bears are going to stick with Justin Fields and trade that pick, man. I really do.
Yeah, Justin Fields, 15-27, 170, a touchdown, and a pick, but he did have 97 rushing yards and a touchdown, and that's just game-breaking
And their defense
ability.
has been playing insane, so
Defense has
imagine
been balling out.
getting a couple more big pieces with all that cap they still have. I don't know. Seems like a playoff team.
They
to me
have a
next
lot
year.
of cap space.
That's what
Yeah,
I'm saying. Keep Justin
I
Fields.
think Eberflus,
Fill out the roster.
his job security has
They're gonna keep him.
definitely grown.
And I think you keep Fields, trade the picks, plug in a couple more holes, whether it's through the draft or free agency, and you have a playoff-bound team.
So you think that the Bears and the Cardinals are going to stick with Fields and Murray and
Yes.
picks 1 and 2, the rights to Caleb Williams and probably Drake May, maybe Jaden Daniels if a team falls in love with him,
Yes.
are going to be up for sale.
Yep.
That is going to be
I
a
think-
crazy bidding war, I believe.
think the bidding war is going to start there.
I still
do.
think the Bears trade Justin Fields for a late first, early second and take Williams just to reset that clock, but you can't deny Justin Fields does have elite.
Bro, I think there's going to be a huge
Ability on
bidding
the
war for
ground.
that number 1 pick, dude. And I think that's playing into their favor, the fact that they know the Cardinals are probably going to stay with Kyler. So I think it's going to play into their favor that they're going to have all these teams bidding, and the value is going to go up like crazy because of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
Because
I
if you
think
lose
they're
out
gonna
on
get-
one, there's your price point for 2. Like it's right under that, So
Yep, that's what I'm saying, man.
it's
They're
not a
gonna
bad
I
problem
think
to have if you're a Bears fan.
They
It's
may
really
end
not.
up getting 2 to 3. Can you give up 3 first-rounders? No, right?
I believe you can. Yeah.
So they might get 3 first-rounders for that pick.
I think what's going to happen is if that
Hey,
does
what if
happen,
somebody gives you a blue-chip player in that deal, too?
that's the thing, dude. That trade they made with the Panthers could end up being one of the best draft trades in NFL history if they hit on their picks.
Dude, what if they get 2 firsts and 2 seconds, and then they get like a play? You know what I mean? Like,
they're probably, if they do trade it, they'd probably move down to like 3 or 4, I'd imagine, or 5.
And you're gonna have
you could take a tackle, you could take a receiver.
Yup.
You could take a receiver, or maybe you like Brock Bowers. You could take a game-breaking tight end, and
you
can afford to take a Brock Bowers because you still have another pick, your own pick that's going to be in the top 10 most likely.
Space and all that.
A lot of cap space, man. The Bears are actually in a good position.
I like it a lot more. If I'm telling you, if Justin Fields is the quarterback of this team next year, they're winning the division and they're making the playoffs.
Wow, you think they're going to surpass the Lions?
Yep. But only if Justin Fields is their quarterback.
Wow, I'm already looking forward to the pods in August. The NFC North prediction pod.
Yeah, me and you both.
Yeah, and for the Cardinals, Murray threw for 232 touchdowns, added 32 yards on the ground. Connor 12 for 45, added 5 for 67 through the air. Trey McBride was pretty much shut down this one, 6 for 31.
Yep.
Not good for the Cardinals.
Trey.
But they're 3-12. They have the number 2 pick right now. You're in a good spot because it seems like they're going to stick with Kyler Murray.
To me, they would be more likely to take a quarterback than the Bears right now.
Oh,
just because of the fact
I highly disagree with that.
Only because I think the Cardinals have so many more holes, and the Bears seem to be more ready to compete right now.
But you're missing the biggest point, and that's the contract.
I know the contract, but I feel like they can still unload it to some team because, as we've seen this year, injuries at the quarterback position is a big thing, and there's a lot of teams that are going to be quarterback needy. So I still think they can unload that contract. And they may have to give up some stuff, but they could reset the clock and just build fresh.
I don't know. I think that's way more difficult because we saw Lamar Jackson was available this offseason, and apparently no one offered for Jackson when the Panthers were going to give up 2 firsts to get number 1 to get Bryce Young. Yeah. Why wouldn't you want to give up 2 firsts for Lamar if you have the opportunity to do so?
Yeah.
Because the contract, because you got to pay him 5 years, $250 million.
Yeah.
So with Murray locked into a huge deal, it's just that's the biggest hurdle in my mind. So that's why I lean Bears more likely. Even though who would you rather have right now to build your team, Justin Fields or Kyler Murray?
Kyler Murray.
Okay.
Just because we've seen him play at an MVP level already.
Yeah.
I just think
he's more polished as a passer as well.
As a team are better right now. Like they just have a lot more talent.
They are better.
And their cap situation's great. That's why I just they don't need to reset the clock. I know they can because you're going to have to pay Justin Fields sooner than later, but I just think I would like this team better if they got more capital.
Well, next year is his 4th year. You got to pick up the 5th year option, which
and I think they should pick up the 5th year option, and then if it doesn't work, then you give them year 4 and 5, and if it doesn't work, then you can still go out and sign or trade for a veteran or try to draft someone. But
that's because then at that point you're going to be stuck in the middle. You know what I mean? Because the roster is young and it's getting better and it's improving. They're on the right track where they're not going to get worse. Where they're going to be picked. They have an opportunity to have the number 1 pick again. They could be in a spot
where the Jets are right now.
Where you're right now, you have the number 1 pick and another top 10 pick. And your roster is at this point where they almost look like they're ready to compete for the playoffs as early as next year.
But my point is they could be a spot in where the Jets are right now where you go out and trade for that veteran quarterback that puts you over the top. And granted, that didn't work out this year.
But it's tough for one to come like a Hall of Fame caliber player like Aaron Rodgers come available. Does not happen often. It just does not.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens at that time. It's all hypotheticals. We'll see.
Yeah, but you could take Caleb Williams, and then you have a top 10 pick to add a receiver with him, and then you trade Fields for a late first, and then you can get another good player. Oh.
We could talk about this all day. We have a lot of off-season pods to debate all the hypotheticals. But all right, let's move on.
I just love the team-building conversations. All right, next, the Dolphins beat Dallas 22-20. I was on the Dolphins in this one. You were on Dallas. They are now 11-4. Dallas 10-5. I thought you said the Cowboys were going to beat the shit out of these frauds.
I thought they were. I guess the frauds beat the frauds in this battle. Yeah. No matter what, one fraud was going down. I thought we'd get a tie, maybe.
Yeah, that would have been funny. Tua threw for 293 and a touchdown. Mostert 11 for 46 on the ground, added a touchdown in the air. Achane 7 for 24. Tyreek had 9 for 99. You could tell he wasn't 100%.
It don't matter to me, man. I like that line at 88 seemed low, and he still got it done.
Yeah, he did hit the over, and I mean, I have him in the fantasy finals this week. You have him. We're big Tyreek Hill fans next week. Hopefully he rests up that ankle because he wasn't really due much after the catch in this one, but he's so fast. He still gets open. For Dallas, Dak threw for 253 and 2 touchdowns. A pretty good game. Pollard did nothing on the ground as per usual. CeeDee Lamb 6 for 118 and a touchdown. He had that 49-yarder. That was pretty nice. Lamb continues his great year. Now, Reagan, who do you think goes farther in the playoffs, Dallas or Miami?
Dallas still, just because I think the AFC is so much more stacked this year.
Well, who's it looking like Miami's going to match up with?
Buffalo. No. Wait, no. as of now, it could be if they get the one. It really depends on this week. There's a chance they get the 1 seed.
Yeah.
There's also a chance they
I'd imagine they lose to Baltimore. But it looks like they're going to be the 2 even with a loss.
Yeah, but there's still a chance that they also get the 6 seed. Like, the Bills could still win the division is the thing. So there's a lot of things that could still happen.
Yes. All right. Hypothetically, if the playoffs started now, who are you more confident winning? Miami at home against Indianapolis or Dallas on the road against Tampa Bay? I'm more confident in Miami to get it done than I am Dallas.
I'm kind of confident in both of them to get it done. So it really comes down to the second round matchup. Like, I think there's a world where both teams could lose, but like honestly, they kind of handle the teams that are. Even though I was just saying like the Bucks have been playing hot, I still think those are the teams that they throttle in the first round, and then when they go against the big dogs is when it gets sketchy.
Okay. I'd have more confidence in Miami winning that first matchup. Just
well, yeah, also
because Dallas on the road.
Home,
being at home is a huge part of that.
Yeah, I would say so too. But we could debate that when the time comes and we know the matchups.
All right, next the Patriots beat the Broncos 26-23. Oh man, Sean Payton, what are you doing? He got cocky at the end of this game. Yeah. He started calling those timeouts when Bill looked content to go to the overtime, and then Bailey Zappi had a big throw.
On dear life at the end there.
Yeah, they hit a 56-yard field goal.
Yeah, and their kicker, man, Rylan, like I don't know how he's still their kicker. He was 13-20 on the year going into that game. Like
Belichick drafted him this year.
Like, bro, you're 65% and you missed the field goal and an extra point in the game. Also, like he did come up clutch at the end, but it's like. How the hell is that your kicker?
Dude,
man?
He must have been nervous as fuck before that kick.
Yeah,
I'm surprised he made it. I mean, from 56, I'm surprised he made that. I'm not going to lie to you.
Ice in his veins, Rylan.
Hell of a kick, though. Yeah, the Broncos were down in this one. 23-7, and then Russell Wilson sparked the comeback with 2 touchdowns and 2 2-point conversions. He threw for 238 and 2 touchdowns. Marvin Mims, 3 for 63. Brandon Johnson, 3 for 47, a touchdown. It's kind of spread out receiving-wise.
Cortland Sutton left the game now with a concussion, I believe.
Yes, he did. He had that.
So I
his
imagine
head hit the ground.
You're probably going to be looking for other options next week because typically they don't play after the concussion. So.
I would not start Jerry Jeudy. That guy's buns. And Javonte Williams cashed the wheel for his touchdown.
He did. Nice
Javonte, thank you. Around the felt, thanks you. Nice little round of applause for
Freddie
Javonte.
Freddie Football.
Yeah, Freddie Football with the spin.
Might have to get him on again. See if he can keep the hot hand going.
We should. Now for the Patriots, Zappi played pretty well. 25 of 33 for 256 and 2 touchdowns against the Broncos defense. That has been playing well.
That's right. Oh, you want to hear this? I think I would have lost my matchup 10 minutes before the game started. I decided to swap the Broncos defense out with the Patriots. I picked them up on waivers.
Wow.
And I won my matchup by 6.8. The Patriots defense got 17. The Broncos defense got, I believe they got, what'd they get?
Not 17.
They got 6. So if I didn't make that swap out 10 minutes before the game,
I
would not be
That's
in my
a good call,
championship.
bud. That's a good call. This guy knows ball, man.
That, and also I got lucky that, Marvin Mims decided to fumble it when the Patriots got to scoop it up. But still.
That's true. Next. Big upset on Christmas Day. What's going on in Arrowhead?
Yeah, dude,
Raiders win 20-14.
Upset of the week, I'd say.
Yeah.
That of the Patriots, but yeah, this is
the Chiefs were 10.5-point favorites.
The biggest upset of the week.
Yeah, that was a big upset. Chiefs are now 9-6. Raiders 7-8.
Keep their dreams alive. There's still a chance they win the division. Unlikely, but there is still a chance.
Yeah, there is a chance. Now, Aiden O'Connell did not play a good football game here. 9-21 for 62 yards. The Raiders are the only team in NFL history to win a game when they did not complete a pass after the first quarter. Insane.
Zamir White show.
Insane. Zamir White, 22 for 145, and it was the defense. That stupid fucking play that they drew up where they're going to snap it to Pacheco to hand it off to Mahomes to run some type of reverse for Mahomes to throw it. That was on Mahomes. I know Pacheco got credit with the fumble. As a running back, you got to open up that pocket. Mahomes went to grab it from him.
To me, watching this Chiefs team, they're just getting too cute. I hate watching this offense. It just seems like screen. Like the offense just doesn't look good, and they just draw up stupid plays.
Yeah,
like they had 1st and 9 on the goal line. They did back-to-back screen passes to Kelsey, and then it was like 3rd and 6, and it's just like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Just hand the ball off if you're gonna do that.
Doesn't make sense. And then after that fumble that was recovered for a touchdown by the Raiders, Mahomes throws a pick 6 the next play. Then they're playing from behind when their O-line couldn't protect anybody. Mahomes was running for his life. The only reason they were even in this game was his ability to run. He had 10 for 53 on the ground and get outside the pocket. I mean, it just seems like he doesn't trust anyone other than Rashee Rice and Kelsey. Kelsey's honestly been a dud recently, but Man, tough look for the Chiefs.
Whenever.
All right, next, Reagan. My Giants fall just short against the Eagles in Philadelphia, 33-25. Giants are now 5-10, eliminated from the playoffs. So, good thing I got my caddying out of the way.
Yeah.
Eagles are 11-4. They end their 3-game skid. But man, they made it a close one when Jalen Hurts threw that pick six to Adoree Jackson.
Yeah.
The Giants had
Not
life.
ideal.
It was 20-18.
Yeah, dude, that game was a lot closer than it needed to be. For you Giants fans, you were probably loving it, and because best scenario, you play a good game, you play close, it's something to build off of, and you lose, and you get the tank.
Yeah.
So, and for Eagles fans, man, I would be worried.
Fraud alert, fraud alert, fraud alert. This defense is just bad, man. I mean, Tommy DeVito got benched at the end of the first half, so Tommy Cutlets might be dead. Dable did not name a starter.
What do we think's gonna happen there?
I think Tommy sees.
He did not name a starter. He said he benched him and brought in Tyrod to try to bring energy to the team and spark the boys.
Tyrod's
But
just like the better player.
Tyrod is a better player.
Better, but I just don't see a point for the next 2 games. Like, I guess, like, from a locker room perspective, like, I guess if the guys were really like, all right, this Cutlet guy, like, he has nothing, like, this is him clearly playing favorites, but to me, I think you have to still play DeVito because he's the young guy. Like, you know what Tyrod is. He's not, like, you're not building around him. Like, there's no, like,
He's not going to be on the roster next year.
That's what I'm saying. So to me, there's 0 point. I don't think by not playing Tyrod, you're losing the locker room. I think the locker room's there no matter who Dable plays. So, because I think both guys are, like, either way, like, they both, like, you can make a case that both guys deserve to play. But for me, like, you got to play the young guy and just continue to build his value because clearly he's not starter caliber. I think that debate's out the window, but he's definitely a backup, and you can keep building him up because maybe a team down the line will be like in need of an emergency quarterback, and they may come and give you a 3rd, 4th round pick. And of course you're going to say yes to that, of course. So I don't know. It's all about building up his value.
Yeah, him being a starter was never a question in my mind. And when people were saying, "Oh, well, he deserves a chance to be the QB1 next year," I was like, "No,
well,
it's a fun story." No, because
he deserves a chance.
No.
To try out,
dude. They were not scoring points with him. Like they were winning. It was on the backs of the defense. Like he brought some energy to the team. Yeah, but statistically, out of like 36, I don't know the exact stats, I'd have to pull it up, but out of 36 quarterbacks that qualified in the stretch that DeVito was playing, he ranked bottom 3 or 4 in literally every metric. Like QBR, like everything, dude.
He deserves a
He
chance.
just wasn't turning the ball over.
He deserves a chance.
Yeah,
to be
he wasn't turning it over because
like,
Dable was
obviously
protecting him.
wasn't going to win the job, but he definitely deserved a chance to try. You know what I mean? Like, there was definitely a conversation that be had there. Did we really think he was going to win it? No, of course not.
I mean, I got in a debate with my boy Hafe, and he was like, "Oh, Cutlets should be the guy," and I'm like,
No.
Well, he was saying he should battle with Jones for the job. I'm like,
yeah,
let's be honest. DeVito does nothing better than Jones. Nothing.
No, well, I don't know. Yeah,
Nothing better.
Probably not.
Nothing.
Yeah, you'd have to really look at it. They both protect the ball well, and they're both nice on the ground, but I'd say Jones is better on the ground.
Yes.
And as a passer, like, neither are
I
the
think
lead.
Jones is probably faster than him.
You would think, yeah.
Jones is a better runner, and he's bigger, and he's stronger.
Tomlin's quicker, but I think like Jones is definitely just the better runner.
Yes, and that's if Jones is even their quarterback next year, and they don't take one in the top 5 of the draft.
I just think more so it was a debate versus something that we thought would never be a debate. The fact that it was even a conversation is cool about the story, but I think at this point, the last 2 games, it's all about building up his long-term value, because if he has 2 more good games, maybe someone comes down the line and tries to trade him for you. But also, if you're going to keep him around as your backup, it doesn't hurt to get the guy experience, because
confidence.
What if you're in the same situation next year, whether it's with Jones or somebody else, and DeVito's still on the roster and has to play?
Well, Jones might not even be ready for the start of the season.
Okay,
as
so,
well.
And if you draft a rookie and you don't want to throw him into the flames right away, maybe it's DeVito. Or maybe you did keep Jones and you're like, you know what, we're fine rolling DeVito out. It's all about gaining the experience, whether it's to up his value or it's to play him in the future.
Yeah, well, DeVito, he looked really bad in the first half. Like he had guys open, he just wasn't making any throws or any reads. Like it was just not good. And this is not a good Eagles defense. Let's be honest.
But it's also not like he has the best weapons outside of Saquon.
No. And the offensive line was brutal too.
Waller, unfortunately, is not working out. Obviously,
that hamstring injury.
We were saying, is this
slow.
like Kenny Golladay? No, it's not like Kenny because of the contract. And also, Waller's still putting up better numbers even with the hamstring injury. But he seems like an asset that's not going to work out. Bellinger looks better to me. So it's all about getting
Bellinger, like when they run plays and they bring in Mark Lewinsky to be like a motion guy and block and power instead of Bellinger. The fact that Bellinger isn't that guy when he showed promise to blocker last year is not a good sign.
No.
Tight end might be a way bigger need for the Giants.
You never know. Maybe Brock
than
Bowers.
You think. Yeah, but if you take Bowers, because you still really need a receiver and you really need offensive line help. But no team has invested more draft capital in the offensive line since the Giants in the past 5 or 7 years. It's crazy, and it's just not panning out. So they got to get rid of their offensive line coach. But yeah, Barkley really kept him in this game. He had 23 for 80 and a touchdown. But man, those Eagles. Jalen Hurts, we mentioned, had the rushing touchdown. Broke the NFL record, single-season record. Swift looked really good, 20 for 92 and a touchdown. I mean, Giants just couldn't tackle in this one. That's really what hurt them. Defense did not show up. A.J. Brown, 6 for 80. Devontae Smith, 479 and a touchdown. Eagles survived, but...
They got 2 games to figure it out before the playoffs.
And they got Arizona and the Giants again, so...
Yeah. I still have confidence in this team. Obviously, there's some red flags here, but I still have a lot of confidence in them going into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Because I still think... You can make a debate. 49ers are better. I think
49ers
it's
are
a
definitely
toss-up
better. 49ers
right now.
are definitely better.
But outside of that, I don't think Dallas or Detroit is on the Philly level. So
I'd still go Philly at 2. I agree with you.
So
I agree with you.
That's my point. So I'm not too worried about Philly. I still think they're going to be in the NFC Championship game.
Last but not least, the big game this week, the Ravens, 33-19
Come
over
on,
the Niners.
doubted your boys, and you.
I took the
Niners
Niners in this one.
you.
We never even mentioned how we went this week in picks. Reagan went 8-8 money line. I went 11-5. We both went 8-8 spread. So season wide, Reagan's 138-100. I'm 143-95 money line. Spread, Reagan's 107-121-9. I'm 114-115-9. I'm hoping to get over 500. I need to. But, yeah, I didn't back the Ravens in this one, and, man, that was a mistake because now everyone's crowning the best team in football.
Yep.
Lamar, 252 and 2 touchdowns, added 45 yards on the ground. Gus the Bus, of course he punched one in. That's what he does.
He's the bus.
Zay Flowers, 9 for 72 and a touchdown. Isaiah Likely, 3 for 56. Cash my leg, let's go. Gus had 1 catch for 39 yards. Man, but it was the defense that won the game for the Ravens. Brock Purdy, 18 of 32, 255. 4 interceptions.
Yeah, I think 3 of them were tipped, too. It was not good. And Darnold threw 1, too. 5 picks on the day for the Ravens defense.
Insane, man. And I benched them in fantasy because they're playing the Niners.
I don't think anyone would have played them. And if you did, you probably forgot to check your lineup.
Yeah. McCaffrey had 14 for 103 and a touchdown. Kittle, 7-126. Ayuk, 6-113. Debo, 4-47. McCaffrey, 6-28. Reagan, I've been saying it, man. If the Niners go down, Shanahan, just his record when they're down in the fourth quarter is absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
Because it's just the way the function of the offense, the way it works to run the play action off of Christian McCaffrey and whoever is even at running back. It's the way they do it. Man, Purdy playing from behind scares the shit out of me. That if they fall behind in a playoff game, I have no faith in Brock Purdy to lead a game-winning drive or a second-half comeback when he's forced to drop back and pass. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, it's small sample size, but yeah, so far he hasn't.
But every time he's been behind, he's played terrible.
That's what I'm saying. So it's a small sample size, but yeah, which is unfortunate come playoff time because obviously there's some explosive offenses like Detroit, Philly, Dallas, where if you get behind, they're going to have to come back. Granted, all those teams, well, Dallas is a good defense, but Philly and Detroit, their defenses are suspects. So we'll see. It'll be interesting come playoff time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just glad that we're not talking Brock Purdy MVP anymore because I don't even think he's the top 4 most valuable players on his own team. McCaffrey, Trent Williams, Nick Bosa, Fred Warner. All more valuable than Brock Purdy.
Sheriff, I feel bad for your ticket, but I don't know who you would have hedged with because it still wasn't clear.
It would have had to be Lamar because they were playing.
And still, we
don't even know if Lamar's going to win it. He's the favorite right now, but a lot can happen in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah,
especially
all
if
it takes
Tyreek
is for
Hill
him to have a
breaks that
dud
record.
this week.
If he has a dud this week and Tyreek Hill can break the record, then Tyreek might get it.
Yeah, and
because we
McCaffrey
saw
could
how
still get
important
it
he is to that
and
offense.
McCaffrey could still get it too.
McCaffrey could still get it as well. I think McCaffrey would be he's now ahead of Purdy, but I thought it should have been that way
now
since week 7 of this season.
Another awards debate type thing going around is Puka versus Stroud. Obviously, Stroud's missed the past 2 weeks, and Puka obviously went off last week. Who's going to get the Rookie of the Year?
Oh, man.
Because I was saying Puka early on, and you want to say Stroud, but I mean, dude, they're both having historic seasons for their respective position.
Yeah, it's tough. Because if Puka breaks the record held by Jamar Chase that was held by Justin Jefferson before,
I mean, Stroud's minus
tough.
1,600 right now, so you would think he would get it.
Yeah.
Puka is plus 500, so it's between those two, and that's it. I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs plus 3,000, but he'd have to go on a tear. So to me, it's still Nakua and Stroud, and it really comes down to does Stroud play, and does he play well?
I think
Puka
Stroud
is
needs to play these next 2 games.
I think Puka's going to still get his yards, so it really depends on what kind of Stroud we get the next 2 games. Do we get the one that's been on a tear, or do we get the one that we saw against the Jets and the Panthers?
Yeah, if Stroud comes out and he throws for 300 yards his next 2 games, it's locked in the bag. But if he struggles mightily and Puka breaks the record, then it's a conversation. You honestly, I mean, it's going to lean to the quarterback. It's a quarterback league.
Yes, it is going to lean to the quarterback. So it really depends on...
I'd still say Stroud, but...
It's Stroud's award to lose. Now, they play the Titans and Colts. So those are both division matchups, which...
Both defenses that you can get through the air.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So it'll be interesting, where Puka also has good matchups. He has the Giants, good matchup for him.
And then what, Arizona? Or Seattle?
The 49ers, but
San Francisco, okay.
So, but you can beat them. So it'll be interesting.
Teams.
So, you know what? It'll be interesting to say, but it's definitely a debate that I thought was settled, and now that, Stroud didn't have a good game against the Jets and then missed the past 2 weeks, it's now something that we're debating again. So
yeah, I mean, he's obviously the heavy favorite right now. If Stroud comes in and leads them to a playoff berth, because right now they're the outside looking in, it's a lock. It's
that's a huge thing that's helping them also, is like, if he plays well, that means they probably win, and if they probably win, that means they get into the playoffs. So it's like he's got all the right things in line to lock it up. Yes. But if they miss and Nakua keeps going off and is a big factor why the Rams make it, which both teams I hope make it, because let's be honest, both teams are fun to watch offensively, so it'll be interesting. But love having these debates, and it'll be interesting to see what happens.
We got a lot of tangents today, a lot of debates. Let us know, guys, on all these debates. Drop in the comments. Let us know. Who do you agree with?
Who's right? Who's wrong?
We'd love to hear from you guys.
Yeah, guys.
I just got a text from listener Jared Crampton. Punishment idea: loser needs to fly drone over a military base.
I actually would prefer to not go to jail, but
I'm down, and I'll put a note on it that says "Return to owner Jared Crampton," and then I'll put your address on it and go down to Camp Lejeune and do it. But yeah, no, that's an interesting one. Definitely wouldn't want to have to do that one. But we'll do it, right? We do every punishment.
Yeah, we do every punishment. I mean, shit, I've thrown up 3 times already for these punishments doing you guys.
You can say any punishment you want, and we will do it, because we respect, our integrity.
If you say it, we will do it.
We respect, except for dyeing our hair pink, because Jake's a moron for that. But
well, that's also just who said it.
It's also coming from Jake. We don't take
that's a good point.
Yeah, Jake's take's more like Jake's cake.
Jake the Snake's cake, bro.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that wraps up this pod. We'll be back later this week for the Week 7 breakdown.